touch coming under there, underneath the bridge, and Gardner has a glance across the track to see Momola, and I don't think Gardner's going to give in this time. Momola will have to drop back. He does. It's Momola relegated to second spot. Gardner out in front, Momola in second place, but Momola this time tries the inside line, 2 laps to go, and it's anybody's race. Oh, so close to disaster there, and they are going very, very quickly indeed.
Good afternoon. That breathtaking action from last year's Transatlantic Challenge here at Donington, but believe you me, that could be child's play compared to what's in store for us over the next 3 days in the 86 Challenge, the 16th annual battle between Britain and the USA. Why do I say that? Well, the changeable weather for one thing, but for another, since Britain won it last year to make it 10-5 to them overall, the Americans decided to send over their young breed of bike riders, all of them hungry for revenge. On top of that, they'll be competing over a new-look Donington circuit, which has been extended during the winter to include a new half-mile loop with 2 hairpin corners between Coppice and Redgate, where we're sitting now. 2 new captains on view as well this year. For Britain, Rob McElhenney from Humberside. He'll be on a genuine American superbike, the one ridden by Eddie Lawson, which won the Daytona 200 3 weeks ago. And I'd like you to meet his oppo from California, the 23-year-old Fred Merkel. Quite a character he is. He fits in his racing between TV commercials and male modelling, would you believe? And I guess, Barry Sheene, that means he's going to be the biggest pin-up since you.
Oh, I don't know. I suppose when I was racing, the only people I could have modelled for was Meccano.
Let's just have a word about Ron Haslam, because he's the #1 British rider. He's a big favourite here, but he's in a situation now where he can only ride if it's wet. What's behind that?
Well, it's very sad because Ron has a contract with Honda France to race their bike in the Grand Prix, and he was due to ride a Suzuki here, which would have been really competitive. And then a couple of days ago, Honda said to him, no, we don't want you riding a Suzuki, which is all very well, but all they've presented him with is a standard road bike that anybody can go and buy out of any shop. So he said that the only way he's going to ride is if it rains in every race, because with a standard road bike, you've got no ground clearance going around the corners, right. So therefore on slick tyres, it wouldn't be any good.
Well, he could be lucky, because it could well rain in every race, couldn't it? But
it looked like it.
These Americans, Barry, there's no Freddie Spencer, no Eddie Lawson, no Kenny Roberts, no Randy Momola. Is that going to devalue this meeting, do you think?
No, I don't think it is, because don't forget the first time that anybody had ever heard of Freddie Spencer was in the match races over here. And the other thing to take into consideration is everybody's riding a bike that is very close to the other guys' bikes, in that they're all bikes that are derived from road machines. Yes. So I think that it'll be a lot closer than people think. And in practice, the Americans have been going really quick and surprised a lot of people.
Donington's changed a bit since you were here 2 years ago. We've got this new loop. What difference is that going to make?
I think it's going to make it a little bit better for the Americans, because all the English guys, they knew Donington Park like the back of their hands, and it's going to level things up quite a lot.
Very quickly, superbikes, which is what this meeting's all about. No Grand Prix bikes. What are superbikes?
Superbikes, as I said, are sort of derived from street machines. They're 750 cc's. They've had the engines really tuned and one thing and another. They'll go okay. You'll be surprised.
I'm sure they will. Well, that's Barry Sheene's view of things. There'll be more from him as the afternoon wears on. For the moment, let's go down to the pits now and hear from the 2 captains who will be leading their teams into action. They're talking to Gary Newbon.
Fred Merkel, what do you say to the criticism that nobody's heard of any of you American riders over here?
Well, it is true. It's the first time for all of us to come over here, except for one of the riders, I think. But not much. It's a little tough for us coming to a new racetrack in a different country and trying to learn the racetrack. And some of us are riding bikes we've never seen before. So it's a little bit tough on us, but we're making okay.
Have the Americans sent their best possible team?
I think so. At this time, I do. And their equipment is up to standards, up to par, and I think we can do a good job.
Okay, Ron, you seem to be the only rider, Rob, who is riding an American-type machine. What sort of disadvantage is the British team going to have then?
Well, nothing really, because the bikes they are riding, they are quite competitive against the American team and my bike. They've rode them all last year. They've just updated the engines a bit, so they're quite competitive. So we've got a very strong team.
How much are you going to miss Ron Haslam? He only rides if it's wet.
Quite a lot. I mean, we was counting on Ron. The Suzuki deal fell through, which we was looking forward to, but Ron's going to be, I think most of the races could be in the rain, unfortunately, so Ron will be there.
Well, in a moment, live action from the first of 8 transatlantic races over the next 3 days. There are 2 today, 3 tomorrow and 3 more on Monday. Points will be awarded on the Grand Prix system, and obviously at the end of those 8 races, it's the team with most points which wins the 1986 Transatlantic Challenge. 10 riders at each side, waving to describe it as ever. Chris Carter, accompanied and assisted by Peter Clifford. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Tony, and the riders out on this single warm-up lap before the start of the first Transatlantic Challenge match race. And any thoughts that the Americans would be swamped, I think, were dispersed very early on in practice today. Kevin Schwantz, on a very unfamiliar Suzuki, ended up second fastest on the grid. Very impressive. Fred Merkel was 4th quickest. Michel Mercier, the French-Canadian, was 7th best. Jan Chivington was 8th quickest. And Ruben McMurter, another Canadian, was 14th best. And people like John Ashmead and Sam McDonald and Glenn Barry all believe they can go a lot quicker in the races. The Americans, I think, have got the machinery. The British riders have got the experience and the circuit knowledge.
Yes, I think we're going to see the Americans go quicker and quicker throughout this afternoon. This first race will be a real test for them because they don't know every inch of the circuit. But of course, we've got some new corners here, which are new to the British riders as well. And at certain parts, and about a quarter of the track, they're on even footing. So it should be very, very exciting.
All the field then on 750cc 4-stroke machines, bikes derived from production road-going motorcycles. Wolves in sheet clothing, they look like road bikes, but they're very quick motorcycles indeed. Lots of power. They're coming round under starter's order then for the start of this first 7-lap race, a real sprint. All the 18 races are just 7 laps. The front row of the grid, the big surprise, a sensation, Kenny Irons, the British boy, the Luton rider, is in pole position, 23 years of age. Kenny Irons on the farthest away from us on the grid. A tremendous performance from Kenny Irons on the Yamaha. There you can see Kenny with the KI on his crash helmet. A talented young man. Next to him is the American Kevin Schwantz. In third position is Steve Parrish, Stavros on the Loctite Yamaha. Then Fred Merkel on the factory Honda. Then number 55, Paul Idden, one of the new boys in the Skull Bandit Suzuki squad. Then on the second row of the grid is Rob McElnay with the Yamaha that Eddie Lawson raced in Daytona. Next to him, the French-Canadian, and away they go! And it's Kenny Irons who makes the start. Equal machines, a real mass of riders going into Redgate for the first time. Number 8 on the right-hand side of your screen should make the lead. No, it's not! Kevin Schwantz, the Texan, the blonde, curly-haired young Texan on a Suzuki he'd never seen before till he got here. Kevin Schwantz is the leader. Kenny Irons is in second place. So America leads in this first race just 7 laps. If you make a bad start, you're in serious trouble. Schwantz the leader, Kenny Irons in second place, and the pack still very close together as they go through Craner Curves, Hollywood's underneath Starkey's Bridge for the first time.
And Steve Parrish is up onto third place with Rob McElnay, the British team captain, in 6th place on the Marlboro Yamaha.
This is Kevin Schwantz, the man in your picture. He's got an appointment in Italy next week after the match races to talk to the Cagiva people. There is Kenny Irons, there's Steve Parrish, then Rob McElnay, then Roger Bennett. Oh, and Roger Marshall had to pick the bike up then, he was in trouble. And the Americans down towards the tail end of the field, but very close. They're still learning the way around into the S's that for the first time. Let's see if anybody overshoots. Yes, there were people going down the slip road there. 1 or 2 people not making that corner.
But McElnay made up 2 places in half a lap. He's really trying hard, but Schwantz opening up a little bit of a lead on the ex-Tony Rutter Suzuki.
Schwantz, the leader, bike number 34. Kevin Schwantz, a really talented young man, 22 years of age. One of the youngest men, in fact one of the 2 youngest men in the race, and there goes McElnay, and Burnett is on the inside, and Burnett's got the better line, so Roger Burnett goes back in front. The Rothmans Honda machine ahead of the Marlboro Yamaha bike. Kevin Schwantz, the race leader, at the end of the first lap. Still there in the second place, Kenny Irons, then Steve Parrish. McElnay goes through, he goes through on the inside of Burnett. So the British men packing the places below. There is Fred Merkel, and Merkel's going very well indeed. Fred Merkel, I made in 6th place, so he's gone ahead That is Kevin Schwantz, number 34. Riding a bike loaned by a British dealer. And Schwantz is destroying the opposition. Kevin Schwantz on a Yoshimura Suzuki finished a splendid second in the Daytona 200 in Florida just a few weeks ago. And now on the bike supplied by Motorcycle Mart at Kidderminster, a bike that at one stage was perhaps going to be ridden by Ron Haslam until political problems put pay to that. And there, Rob McElnay on the charge now, and Merkel is to the back of that group, and Fred Merkel, who did only 8 laps of practice, he said, I know my way around here, I don't need any more practice, and I think he's right. Rob McElnay at the front of that group. Number 4. Behind him is Steve Parrish, then it's number 9, Roger Burnett, and completing the quartet is Fred Merkel, the American captain, and Merkel, I'm sure, would like to get up there in the top 3, 15 points for a win, and Roger Burnett sneaking through on the inside and nearly got himself in trouble with Steve Parrish.
It's a very interesting machinery situation with the Suzuki leading 3 Yamahas and then 2 Hondas, so they're all in there scrapping it out.
And Merkel goes through on the inside of Burnett, and he's going to go inside of Parrish, and Merkel almost disaster. He almost lost the front wheel. Fred Merkel in big trouble there. He won't be able to do overtaking manoeuvres like that and get away with it.
Yes, if he'd have touched the back of Burnett's bike, he certainly would have fallen off. Not enough grip to get away with it. And Burnett, number 9, goes back inside the American Superbike champion, Fred Merkel.
And this is the view from the camera on Roger Burnett's Rothmans Honda machine. Burnett, bike number 9, battling away at the moment in 7th place, just behind Steve Parrish. You can see the number 6 on the back of the Loctite Yamaha ahead. And this is the battle live. And into the pits goes Glenn Barry, one of the Americans in trouble. He's in the pit. That is Roger Burnett in the picture.
And if I may dare to suggest that Merkel made a little bit of a mistake in practice, it would be that although he may have learnt his way around this Donington Park circuit in 8 laps, when the line that he would have chosen is filled like by Burnett in front, it's very difficult to overtake as all the corners run into each other, and he's now finding he's got to pick different lines as he tries to go the inside of Burnett but can't do it.
And Glenn Barry apparently has tyre problems, which is the reason for the American pulling out, and the roar of the 4-stroke engines as the battle between Steve Parrish, Roger Burnett, and the American captain Fred Merkel. And Merkel merely at the moment a spectator. Ken Irons still there ahead of Rob McElnay, and Parrish going through on the inside, and Merkel cannot find a way through at the moment. Merkel number 1, he's the American captain, behind number 6 Steve Parrish, and Burnett goes through on the inside as neat as you like.
And now it's the 2 Yamahas in front of that pack there, the yellow bike of Ken Irons followed by the orange machine of Rob McElnay's.
And we have lost Kevin Schwantz. We have lost Kevin Schwantz on our lap charts, and it would seem that the American has made a serious error somewhere.
So this well could be the leader now, Ken Irons on the yellow Yamaha, leading his captain Rob McElnay. McElnay looking for a way past.
Well, a sensation. It looks as though Kevin Schwantz, the race leader, has gone. Barry Sheene, what do you make of that?
And McElnay goes to the inside, takes over the lead from Kenny Irons.
So Rob McElnay in the lead. And apparently it was Schwantz who went off at Redgate. I saw a glimpse of yellow flags. So Kevin Schwantz paid the penalty for forcing on the pace too much, and his team will have paid the penalty as well. Here's the battle for the lead. Kenny Irons battling with Rob McElnay. McElnay's got the better line, he's on the inside, but brave as you like, Kenny Irons just blocks that Yamaha across the front of McElnay's machine, and the British riders are packing the front few positions. There's only Merkel there in 5th place, 5 riders close together. 23-year-old Kenny Irons, a privateer, ahead of the Works Yamaha, and McElnay drifts so close, almost touching him. Roger Burnett there in 3rd place, number 8. That's Kenny Irons, the race leader. Number 4, Rob McElnay, the British captain.
an incredible piece of riding from these two. McElnay looking for the better drive out of the corner on the inside line, but the speed of Kenny Irons' yellow Yamahas just seems to squirt him away of his team captain, and Burnett is closing up on them in third place on the Honda.
4 laps completed, 3 more laps to go. Kenny Irons leads for Britain. Rob McElnay is in second place. Roger Burnett is in third spot. Steve Parrish is in fourth position on the Loctite Yamaha, and behind him the American captain Fred Merkel, and Fred Merkel will be more than disappointed with this performance. He believes that he is a winner every time he goes out on the racetrack, and with his performances back in America, he's got every reason to be that confident. And McElnay there just cruising behind Kenny Irons. I think McElnay could go through almost any time he wanted to, and as I speak, McElnay goes through on the inside. Kenny Irons pushed back to second place, and Rob McElnay, the captain, leading at the moment. And really, if the Brits hold the positions they've got at the moment, they're going to destroy the Americans in this first race. 15 points for a win, 12 for second, 10 for third, and 8 for fourth. And that would give the British team 45 points to the best of my reckoning, 45 points, and really the Americans are struggling at the moment.
Yes, it's the Brits who are doing everything. McElnay pulling away a little bit from Irons, who's coming under increasing pressure from Burnett on the Honda. So Irons has got his sights set on McElnay, still the leader, but he's got to watch out because Burnett is going to pass him any moment now.
And Ken Irons, the man who was fastest in practice, has seen his lead snatched away by Rob McElnay, and he's under pressure from Burnett. Burnett, once again, Burnett is very, very quick at that particular part, the new section of the circuit, and that really is a bit of a surprise. Burnett through, and this time Kenny Irons will not give in. Irons has got a very quick motorcycle, and he's side by side with Burnett, but he can't hold back Burnett. Burnett on the Rockman's Honda machine goes through into second place. McElnay the leader, Burnett second, Kenny Irons third. Steve Parrish is in fourth position, and now Fred Merkel has dropped back, and let's see if we can pick up any more of the Americans. In sixth place is another British rider. In sixth place is number 33, Chris Martin. Then comes 16, Keith Ewan. Behind Keith Ewan is number 53, Dan Chivington. So the Americans in 5th and 8th place at the moment. In 9th spot is Michel Mercier, and in 10th position, Ruben McMurter. So a bit of a disaster, particularly after Kevin Schwantz, the man who was leading the race, fell off.
And now Irons has got up behind the Honda again, and he knows that his Yamaha is faster down the straight, so he's going to try and get into the slipstream of Burnett's Honda and pull out, perhaps to pass him on the braking, but he can't do it. We drop back to see, there's McElnay leading.
So the British team at the moment pulling further and further ahead, less than a second the gap. And let's see what Barry Sheene sees of this race so far.
Well, I didn't actually see Kevin Schwantz go down. I just sort of caught it out of the corner of my eye, but he was going very, very hard, and I think it was a bit unfortunate because he looked very smooth, but anyhow, he threw it down the road at Redgate. I'm so impressed with Kenny Irons the way he's going, because when you think about it, he's not on a factory bike, and McElnay that's leading now is on the factory Yamaha that must have sort of, I don't know, 20 or 30 horsepower more than Kenny Irons' bike. And indeed, Roger Burnett's on a factory bike as well, so I think Kenny Irons deserves a pat on the back.
Well, a pat on the back from Barry Sheene for Ken Irons, and a well-deserved pat on the back. 23 years of age from Luton, a winner of the Pro-Am Series. When in its early days, he won the 84 Pro-Am Series. Well, he's learnt an awful lot from that. He's not the bash-bang rider that he was then. Smooth and polished. Kenny Irons there, number 8. In third spot on the privately owned Yamaha by group captain Coulson. Splendid performance, Queen's Messenger, in fact the man who sponsors Kenny Irons. And McElnay on the factory Yamaha, he was delighted to get this bike. McElnay, the race leader. In second place, number 9, Roger Burnett, and Burnett will be pleased with his ride as well. Kenny Irons in third spot, and Merkel, the best of the Americans, still there in 5th place. Rob McElnay, the leader, into the S's for the final time. 6 and a bit left completed. He looks over his left shoulder to see where the rest is. There is number 4, McElnay. He's done a good captain's job. No complaints at all from the British supporters about this. McElnay coming round. Goddard's for the final time. The checkered flag is ready. So Rob McElnay is the winner. Roger Burnett finishes in second place for Britain. Third, another British rider, Kenny Irons. Fourth, Steve Parrish. So 4 British riders taking the first 4 positions, and the first American is going to go through, and he's lost another place. In fact, it's Chris Martin that goes through, so Martin goes through, and Fred Merkel, the first Brit, is down in 6th place. Well, down in the pits, waiting to talk to Kevin Trunks, is Gary Newman.
Well, Kevin, you just had to watch Britain mop up a race that you had won. What went wrong for you?
Oh, we watched the weather and it looked like it was going to rain. It was going to stay wet, but we didn't count on the sidecars going out there. The track's almost completely dry. We put a rein on the front, intermediate on the back, and the front end just went away. It was gone after about a lap and a half.
So what actually happened at the time?
Went off into turn 1 and the front end just twisted under. The front tire was probably, it's so soft that it was just rolling and there was nothing I could do.
This weather's going to play havoc, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I think we all made a bunch of wrong tire choices. All the Americans out there had the same setup I had on, and we still have 7 more races. I think we can come back and do some good.
Thank you. Let's go back to Chris now.
So a tremendous performance then from the British team, a good packing job, and there you are, the result of the first leg. Rob McElnay the winner, Roger Burnett in second place, third home Kenny Irons. The British team looking good at the moment, but there'll be more from Donington. Please join us again after this break.